What's up, y'all? It's the MMA Analyst. Back at it again, here to do my recap for UFC 114. Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Sugar Rashad Evans. Let's get right down to it. The main event, it is what it is. I had one major oversight in my predictions. I did predict Rampage would win the fight. Wrong. I did predict Rashad would only go for takedowns, basically, and that's what his entire game plan would be. Correct. But what I forgot about, the thing that I didn't really pay attention to, was exactly how much time goes by in your average Rashad Evans takedown attempt and Quentin Rampage Jackson takedown defend. Rampage comes out, bam, gets hit right away, stumbles back, Rashad runs over, into the clinch immediately. Like a minute later is when they finally break. And then, I believe in the first round, Rashad got one takedown and was on the ground maybe for 40 seconds max, but the rest of the time was spent Rampage defending takedowns. And a lot of people probably thought Rampage would get taken down easier, or he would gas, or whatever the situation is. But in the end, it just came down to Rampage spending so much of the round defending takedowns that there was no time for him to throw a punch or to try and knock somebody out or to score points. It was just, I have to not get taken down, and that's going to take time. And I forgot about that. I forgot time exists in fights. I just figured, for whatever reason, you know, Rampage will go out there, stuff some takedowns, and finish the fight. Dumb, but it is what it is. Round one takedown, one punch landed. The round was won by Rashad. Round two, one takedown, possibly no punches landed. The round was won by Rashad. That's just the way it was. Time just flew by both rounds. And then third round, there's something about Rashad in the third round. I don't know if he opens himself up to stuff, but he gets clipped in the third round in fights where the other guys are more tired than they've ever been. And, it took Thiago Silva a whole bunch of, getting into his head, and Rashad went out there and did something dumb and got caught. And, Silva was too fatigued to finish the job. And the same damn thing happened here. Rampage clips him. That's enough. Hits him again on the way in. Closes the distance, which I'll talk about in a second. And then goes from there and is just too tired to finish the job. They end up in the clinch, in the guard. He's holding him in. They end up standing up. Rashad is still wobbly. And Rampage is too tired to commit. When Thiago Silva had his chance, he danced around and tried to be cocky and, put on the appearance of something else. And Rampage just said F it and just didn't do anything. But what I was going to talk about for a real quick second is what happens when you get somebody rocked. And I know it's, probably sounds whatever from me. I don't fight in, that level. Hell, at any level. I do jiu-jitsu and punch a bag and work some wrestling. But the point is, I'm watching a lot. And what I see is distance is so important when you have somebody rocked. When you're somebody like Rampage and you rock Rashad and Rashad's all wobbly, heck, anybody. If I rock you, you rock me. What's the worst thing that can happen is I get to hold on to you and we're hugging and I'm holding on for dear life. That's what it is. Oh, Lord, please just let me make it through this. I promise I'll tithe next Sunday at church. Like, that's what that is. Holding on. You know what I mean? Like Floyd Mayweather against Mosley. Mosley, bam, rocks him. It's actually straight. Bam, rocks him. Mosley gets rocked. Floyd gets rocked. He grabs onto the arm and he just holds on. Oh, Lord, please don't let him hit me again. Please don't let him do that again. I promise. I'll give back to the children. I'll be a good citizen. Gets through it. And then he goes on to recover. In this fight, bam, rocked on the ground, bam. As he's getting, pummeled, he's working for the underhook. He's working for half guard. And sooner than, all of a sudden, Rampage is on top. He's done punching. And now they're hugging. They're holding. Rampage is catching his breath. Rashad's getting his brain back. They stand up. Rashad's getting his wits back. Rampage is catching his breath. And then all of a sudden, chance gone. Out the window. Long gone. And that's just what happened. That was the difference in the fight. If he would have been ready to go full speed ahead, like you wait for that opportunity, you're fighting for that opportunity, and then that opportunity comes and you're not prepared for it. Man. And he didn't come out to the A team. Damn. What's next? I don't know. Quentin doesn't take losses that well. It seems like he's taking this one okay. As good as I expected him to. There was no trashy, trash talk after. That was good. They both seemed, respectable. That was good. I know a lot of things are the hype fights, but this one, I don't really think they like each other. But, it was good that they were able to keep it, respectable and keep it classy. You know what I mean? Somebody used to say that back in the day, keep it classy. But anyways, Rashad's got his fight now, supposedly with Shogun, but here's my prediction, y'all. They're going to find a way to get Randy in there. They're going to find a way. We're going to find out real soon. They're going to say, so, at the press conference, so, does Rashad now have the next title shot against Shogun? And Dana's going to say one of a few things. He's either going to say, yes, he's got the title shot. And then in that case, I believe 95% chance that he'll have the title shot. If he says anything else, well, he's definitely in line or he's definitely in the running. And then the third thing he can say is, well, I don't know. We've got that Randy fight coming up against James Toney and we got to see what happens. I truly believe if Rampage would have got the fight, for sure, title shot, there would have been no thought about it. But the way that Rashad went out there and did his thing, he got the win, but I'm just saying, he's not the most popular guy. And Randy is. We'll see. But I think that they're going to try and find a way to get Randy in that cage against Shogun. I think so. Dan Miller versus Michael Bisping. I picked Michael Bisping. I was rooting for Dan Miller, but that only lasted 3-4 minutes max because I cannot back somebody who refuses to use a sensible game plan. I cannot do it. Dan Miller went out there, lost in a striking match to Damian Maia, and now went out there and wouldn't attempt a takedown for 2.5 rounds against Michael Bisping. No. It's your third fight. You got to get this win. It could be your third loss in a row. If you don't, you're out. And you don't even go for a takedown and you smiling and just having a good time. I don't even know what that's about, but I could not support it. By the end of the first round, I was like, Bisping, send him to the minors. No disrespect, but he's got to figure out exactly why he's here. Is he here to win? Is he here to put forth the best possible game plan he can do? Or is he out here to spar? Michael Bisping did not have 1 day of training camp. That was as easy as this fight. Not one time did a sparring partner put his hand down here and keep his hand up here and lean over real slow and leave his whole face exposed. Not one time did a training partner not attempt multiple takedowns. Not one time did he have to not work off his back. I mean, this was the easiest way this fight, if they said, Michael Bisping, write down 100 ways this fight's going to go, he would have never picked Dan Miller's just going to stand and trade with me for 2.5 rounds and then go for a takedown in the third round. And after his face was already all beat up and he couldn't do anything. Man, I can't support that. Good job, Michael Bisping. These UFC fighters, sometimes, man, they got to figure it out. What are they trying to do? You trying to win? You trying to stay, employed by the UFC? Or you trying to go out there and spar your way, to somewhere else? Todd Duffy versus Mike Russow. Oh, man. First round, I'm like, wow. I haven't seen much of him. 7 seconds in his first fight, and before that, who was he really fighting? This guy was moving, head movement, feet movement, real good, fast, springing in and out. This guy's 253 pounds of muscle, in and out, moving all over the place. Absolutely. I'm like, wow. The hype is real. The hype is real. That's what I was thinking all first round. Second round, he started to get a little of the Pudzilla syndrome, turning crazy red. All that muscle, the oxygen couldn't reach it everywhere, and he just turned red. But he was still, killing Russow. All we knew is that Russow could not take down Duffy. Russow had a crazy chin, and Todd Duffy was somewhat of a beast. Third round, same thing. Todd Duffy's real tired now, but Mike Russow has nothing. He can't get the fight to the ground. He can't even touch his knee, let alone get a takedown. And then all of a sudden, a little teeny looked like some kind of Shane Carwin, just quick bow. Didn't see it coming. Hit him. He was out. He was out. The second and third punch. The second punch when he was on the way down, that didn't mean anything. The third little rubbing against his chin, that didn't mean that he was out. It was like a perfect shot. Mike Russow was like, I don't know what the hell just happened. Todd Duffy, you can only sit there and smile when something like that happens. When the fight is yours and something like that happens, all you can do is smile. And that's what he was like, I can't believe what the hell just happened. Crazy. Lil Nogueira versus Jason Brills. I thought Nogueira won the fight. It came down to round one. Who won round one? Round two was obviously Brills. Round three was obviously Nogueira. So who won round one? Brills, I think he had 2 takedowns. But Nogueira quickly swept those. And I believe, from my memory, I haven't seen it, he was defending, I'm talking about Brills, was defending the majority of round one. I got to give the fight, round one, close to Nogueira. However, if you think Brills won, it's not a robbery. For example, I thought Nogueira won. If they would have said, Brills, you're the winner, I wouldn't have said, oh, robbery. This is not a robbery. No matter who wins here, it's a close fight. Not a robbery at all. Brills showed up, looked good. Nogueira didn't look too great. He looked good getting out of that submission attempt in round two. But, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But Brills looked good. I had a chance, y'all. I had a chance to be the man. I try and do these predictions. I try and, anybody can pick the favorites a whole bunch of times and look like they know what they're talking about. I don't try and do that. But I set it up. I set myself up for success. I said, I've been watching Hathaway. I watched his fights, on YouTube because that's where they were before he hit the UFC. I watched him since he came to the UFC. I picked him 3 times so far, and here we go. He's going to fight Diego Sanchez. Hathaway's a big guy. He's strong, got good wrestling, takedown defense. He's got good hands. I put it all out there. I was and then I said, but he's never faced anybody like Diego Sanchez. I just can't pick him. Damn, I had my chance. Sometimes you just got to go with it. He looked great. That's all I can say, really. Diego Sanchez was not really able to do much. Hathaway, the more the fight went on, the more he realized what he needed to do. Started to put it together, the nice jabs and crosses. Started to really use the jab in the third round. First round, hit him with that nice knee. It wasn't a reaction knee like he's coming in for a takedown. It's like, I'm throwing a knee, and I bet you'll try and take me down shortly after I start throwing this knee. Wow. Good fight, John Hathaway. Diego Sanchez, tough fight. We're not sure what Homeboy's going to do, though, because, he's fighting out 170, dropping down to 155, jumps back up to 170. I don't know what he's going to do, but he basically has, 2 beatdowns back-to-back. Amir Sadollah versus Dong Hyun Kim. It's what I thought was going to happen, man. Dong Hyun Kim just taking him down, keeping him down, controlling him. I actually enjoyed the fight. There weren't really many boos either, so, Dong Hyun Kim, it's not like it was exciting, but I enjoyed the ability to just absolutely control your opponent. Escudero took out Dan Lozon, unanimous decision. Congratulations, Escudero. Melvin Gillard. Somewhere, Greg Jackson was saying, yo, calm down. Take it down a bit. You won. Congratulations, but calm down. This dude, I want a title shot. And then he was like, you know what? Before the title shot, I want to take on either Joe Stevenson or Jeremy Stevens. He was like, I want Jeremy Stevenson. I'm like, wow. He wants Joe Stevenson and Jeremy Stevens at the same time. This guy's crazy. Now, obviously, he wanted Jeremy Stevens, which is an exciting fight, which is something where they'll both stand and bang, and they will get fight of the night. That's why he wants to fight, and he wants to beat somebody who who's doing well. But congratulations, Melvin Guillard. P.S. Isn't your core supposed to be a little better than that? This wasn't a rib break. This wasn't solar plex. I can't breathe. This was like right in the abs. These are the only abs. Like if you just do crunches, those abs get worked out. You don't even have to do the side ones. You don't even have to do. This is just get your abs right. He dropped so hard from that abs, and he just said, "Punch me in the face." He said, "F that. I'm just gonna turtle here. You can punch me in the face till the ref comes in, cause my stomach hurts." You're not supposed to be able to just fall over like that. Louis Kane knocked out 2 times in a row. Congratulations to Cyril Diabate. Nice one there. Aaron Riley, congratulations with their win over Joe Brammer. And Ryan Jensen with the submission of the night over Jesse Forbes. Overall, good night of fights. The main event, I remember somebody said, "Man, I wish that could be a 5-round fight." I said, I don't know if you guys want to see Rashad try and take down Rampage for 25 minutes. That's not going to be something exciting. It's not what everybody wanted to see. It's not the outcome I wanted to see. But it is what it is. It's mixed martial arts. It's real. It's a sport. MMA, y'all. It's important.